The down sidings at Heaton Mersey were closed in 1965, the 4 tracks westward extending to Heaton Mersey Shed. An 8F rumbles past the shed towards Cheadle. Heaton Mersey Depot was a Cheshire Line shed with an L&ER allocation. However, from 1948 under BR Midland region, coded 13C, there was a gradual influx of LMS types, including the 8Fs, which were to survive up to closure in May 1968. 48356 was allocated here in March 1968 on the closure of Trafford Park Shed. It had been a long-term resident of Kettering before this. The CLC coaling stage survived to the end of steam, although only one side was by then in use. Loaded coal wagons were propelled into the building and unloaded by hand into tubs. These were wheeled into position to disgorge their contents into the waiting tenders below. This was hard manual labour for the coalmen. Midland 4Fs were allocated here by 1950. They performed local shunt work and banking duties from Tiviot Dale to Woodley Junction. On the 14th of September 1962, 44554 is shunting sister 44250 and an Ivat Mogul. .48161 was another long-term resident of Heaton Mersey. About 20 of the class were usually on the books, working as far away as Hellifield, Towton and Chesterfield. Other duties were to Peak Forest, Northwich and Liverpool. .43134 was shedded at Boston in Lincolnshire. It was probably here after a visit to Horwich Works, who were overhauling this class at the time from other regions. Notice the full and busy upsidings behind the engines. .9F 92008 was visiting from Rowsley. It is turning on the 70-foot table installed in the late 1950s. It had been recovered from the Manchester-London Road station in 1958 and saw 10 more years' service at Heaton Mersey, replacing a smaller table in front of the main shed buildings. .48684 goes off shed by the coaling stage on the 18th of April 1968. The cab side numbers are just visible. The fireman is building up his fire. In 3 weeks she would be coaled, withdrawn and forgotten on the closure of the steam depot on the 6th of May. Today the M63 passes right through the shed site. The rundown of Heaton Mersey Shed is all but complete. This view westward shows Heaton Mersey West Junction box, and behind it the high-level bridge carrying the last link in the chain of the Midlands route to Manchester Central, that from Heaton Mersey Station to New Mills South Junction, opened in 1902. It was an expensive line to build, nearly 10 miles of new double-track railway, a 2.5-mile tunnel at Disley, and this 245-yard-long Newtown Viaduct at New Mills South. An English Electric Type 4 laterally class 40 is southbound over the viaduct in 1980. Although 12 years after the last regular steam over the line, it meets a preserved locomotive in the form of Black 5 5305 on a rail tour. There were only 2 stations on this new section of 1902. Hazel Grove closed within 15 years of opening in 1917. Cheadle Heath was a different story. It sported 2 island platforms and a single station platform. There were ample goods facilities. 4F 44605 of Liverpool's Walton Depot departs south on a freight. She would have taken the Liverpool curve at Cheadle Heath North Junction on the CLC line, travelling from home via Glazebrook and Warrington Arpley. Seen earlier at Heaton Mersey shed, 44554 is on a local shunting duty. Shedded at Heaton Mersey at the same time as 44554 was Standard Class 4 76085. She had been here for 3.5 years and was just 5 years old. Her next move in September 1962 would be to the other end of the Midland Main Line, Cricklewood, London. Transferring the other way in November 1961, Fairburn 264 tank 42134 arrives with a 4-coach local train from Manchester Central. She came to Heaton Mersey shed from Neasden. Departing back to Manchester but with only 3 non-corridor coaches was stablemate 42159. She also came from Neasden at the same time. From the late 1950s, through London expresses were often in the hands of Royal Stock 460s. 46129, the Scottish Horse, departs Cheadle Heath. By 1965, Standard Class 2 moguls could be seen. Trafford Park 78007 runs light engine northwards under Stockport Road Bridge. Once she worked on the Cambrian, shedded at Mahuntleth and Oswestry for many years. The Fairburns were being displaced by Ivat moguls. Heaton Mersey's 43033 is running round a stopper from Manchester Central. For destinations like Chinley, Trafford Park would roster a Black 5. 45220 heads south under Edgeley Road Bridge before 43033 returns to Manchester Central tender first. The end for passenger services at Cheadle Heath came in January 1967. Freight facilities followed in July 1968. An 8F heads south amongst the dereliction. Beyond Stockport Road Bridge was Cheadle Heath North Box. Here, the Liverpool curve diverged left onto the Cheshire Line's route from Woodley Junction to Glazebrook and Warrington. An 8F is passing Heaton Mersey West Junction Box. The line ahead went to Manchester Central. 48191 pulls away from Heaton Mersey West Junction box. This was a Cheshire Line's all-timber structure with a 40-lever frame. The 8F passes under the steel lattice bridge carrying the Cheetah Heath to Manchester Central line. It was demolished in 1974. The wrought-iron box girder bridge over the Mersey was dismantled in 1986.